Hello, viewers, and welcome to Now Streaming Sports. Now Streaming Sports is reaching you live from the capital city of Abuja in the studio of the Advent Cable Network Nigeria Television. And with me this morning on the Now Streaming Sports is my co-anchor, Mr. Bolu. Mr. Bolu, good morning and welcome to the sports show.
Good morning. Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here again.
All right, welcome. All right, so we have in the studio this morning to talk about sports and all the happenings around the world of sports. Here is Mr. Raphael. Mr. Raphael is a sports commentator. Mr. Raphael, good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning. We're here again to dissect all sports stories.
Yeah, welcome. I'm happy to be here because now we have three people sitting in the studio, and the three of them are supporting three different teams. And we also have one person joining us virtually, and he's also supporting one of the teams that the person sitting here in the studio is supporting, in the person of Comrade Abraham Soko. Comrade Abraham Soko is a sports analyst. Comrade, good morning and welcome to Now Streaming Sports. All right, thank you. Thank you. We also have somebody who is on the firing squad this morning, joining us in the studio because he's always firing in every direction, not minding who is standing on the line. So we have Dr. Izu Edesiri also joining us on the show this morning. Dr. Izu Edesiri is a sports analyst. Welcome, gentlemen, to the show this morning. Viewers, please remember you can join the show by calling the number showing on your screen or equally sending your comment via our various social media handle. And before we begin discussing some of the by dissecting some of the sports stories, let's look at the front page of Punch Sports Extra. And I have before me here the Punch Sports Extra, and it has this story as no rival. And then Nwabali stands alone at the top amid Eagles goalkeeper crisis. That's the story on page 6 of the Punch Sports Extra. All right, so below that we have Havertz out for season. Oh, so sorry for Arsenal. That's not too bad. Arsenal's forward players are suffering from injuries. We have a whole lot of them now out for a couple of weeks and a couple of matches. Right, that story is on page 4. And page 2 we have the story on Drake Hill's Durant after new NBA record. All right, and so above the masthead we have the story on Atlanta placing 60 million pounds on euros on price tag on Lookman. That's on page 7. And page 7 also have the story on Balogun denies retirement claims. How old is he? Is he going to retire before his retirement? And it all depends. Maybe probably health issues or maybe other form of pursuit. All right. So Leon Balogun denies retirement claims. And also on page 7 we have the story on Osimhen out of Europa League clash. That story is on page 7 of the Punch Sports Extra. All right, so we have on page 4 also United players question Amorim's tactics. You know, recently when Amorim came, we were like, okay, this is going to be a new era for Manchester United. But it looks like I think his first 2-3 matches he played, he performed well. And
for where?
Yeah, no, he didn't see that.
I think it was only one match. There was only one match. You remember? You're whipping him on.
You didn't see it coming.
All right, so now before we begin talking about these foreign stories, let's talk about some of the Nigerian story. One, first of all, is the one we see on the front page of the Punch Sports Extra about no rival. It's a question: is there no rival for Nwabali? And we have recorded some form of or some information that there is crisis in the goalkeeper section of the Super Eagles.
At the moment now, that headline is very apt, very, very apt, because you ask yourself, who do you have to rival Nwabali at the moment? Do you understand? The one person that everybody thought was back, that we are going to go back to, was Maduka Okoye. But you know Maduka Okoye has gotten to the point where I don't know if that issue affects him. I think it does. Back home here also, so for now is off the grid when it comes to goalkeeping. And who else do we have again? Remember, we had the third choice that we kept shuffling back and forth. Either you're bringing this or you're bringing that, and then we also have Uzoho, who we've not heard anything about. We've not heard anything about Uzoho
What is
for
it?
the longest time. So right now, the person that we have and we all know about is Mwabali, except we have the coaches and they have been watching the home front because over the years we've not seen any of our home based goalkeepers being brought to the forefront, even in games that are not very serious. That we thought you try them to see how good they are. Do you
But
understand me?
we have this forthcoming Chan. And,
Your games are you going to wait? Chan is in August. Chan is in August. So yeah, unless they have I've forgotten this guy's name, one of the guys that was carried along with them to the Afcon. So I want to believe that we have other good keepers that are able to rival Nwabali. But for at the moment, Nwabali is the number one.
all right, thank you. So, Comrade Abraham Soko, please, if you're there, I want to find out from you: should Vincent Nyama be invited back to come and play for the Super Eagles, or is there any rival for Nwambali currently in the Super Eagles team?
Right now, I believe that we are facing a crisis in our goalkeeping position in the Super Eagles team because we already report that Victor Osimhen is going to be out
Mm.
for some time from their UEFA League game today and for some time, and we are not bothered about that particular omission in as much as it is hard because we have worthy replacements in Victor Boniface and Lookman. But in the goalkeeping position, the same cannot be said because we have seen that although Wabali has been very, very dense for both the club and country, but it does not tell where when there's nobody challenging him for that particular position. He can decide to become complacent, and this will hurt the prospect of the team going forward. So I believe that we really need to find an alternative. I understand why it is being referred to as a crisis, and personally, I believe that it is a crisis. To answer your question, I don't think recalling Vicente Yama is in the question
Mm.
because for now, I don't think it's cheap to be a goalkeeper at the elite level of football we're playing in Africa right now. So I don't think that that is a possibility. Tarafiki mentioned Uzo. From what I have read, he has only featured twice for his club. So I don't think Omonia this season. So I don't think that is also a worthy replacement. So we are actually in a crisis. We have to find a way to maneuver from that particular crisis. If it takes us to probably going into our local leagues and getting some goalkeepers, I think that is also an option because we have our own national league and we have goalkeepers that perform weekly in our league. So that might be our only option for now. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Comrade Abraham Soko. Doctor Edesiri Izu, I don't know, would you want to leave your medical profession and come and keep for Super Eagles and be the goalkeeper for Super Eagles as it is now because we have just all eyes are just on Wambali?
Anyway, that would not be a bad idea because the greater I see that information that I can go things also strengthens me.
Strategy, yes.
Uh, but so, if this comes to show, I can do it. Just that on the condition that we need to have more than just the cement, so that if they score me 2 or 3, score 4. So far you win. You haven't scored like 10, 12, 9. That's fine. But on a more serious note, I think it's something that we need to take serious as a country. We don't take development seriously. We don't take talent recruitment seriously. We just rely on faith, on chance. Since the days of Peter Rufai, Ike Shomu, I think Vincent Yama, we've not really had a reliable number one. The rest that we've had since then have those that fortune just placed on us. Going back to people like Carl Kimi, the most goalkeeper, who unfortunately had a leukemia and had to resign for medical reasons. And since then, it has been to go to hoping that one day God will help us. So there has not been any conscious effort put into recruitment, into training, talent identifying. When last NFF organized in-country youth championship? When last the Nigerian football team or the technical management visit any of the local tournaments to at least and them young? Before we used to have this fund, this sport tradition of Nigeria, Principal's Cup, Master Cup. When last did we hold such a tournament? What we just do now is hope that one day one on a country or club will be a player and then we invite. Why don't we have local production? Same thing we are looking at for vaccines for drugs. Why don't we have local production? You understand my point? Now, different churches organize tournaments, different organizations organize tournaments. When last the football federation or even sports federation, not just football is just a symptom. The goalkeeper is just an thing of what issues are. Now, if you even in our current Super League, how many of them train here? Atalanta, Lukman trained abroad. It's just that he's patriotic and wanted to come and play for Nigeria. Same thing with Lombard. Same thing with Truth. So almost half of the team were developed by others for us. So when last make conscious effort in organizing secondary school tournaments, and then apart from organizing it, making sure that the Nigerian technical team, not the head coach, but their scouts or the assistant coaches are at this stadium watching them and grooming them from the under 17 stage. When last the players from the under 17 or under 20 graduate into the Super League? When last? So those are the things that we need to take seriously and stop hoping on the chance that maybe one now we are going to beg some of all these players again to come and join our national team. You see Tosi and Arabayu and the rest of them. Very soon our NFL chairman will go and beg them, come. Just unfortunately, we don't have a keeper that was trained in England or any of those places to come. And we can't continue that way. So I think in the meantime, we have to just pray that Nwabali doesn't get injured. But again, even Nwabali is not so reliable. We saw that at the AFCON. The two goals we considered at the AFCON final, he was guilty for at least one, if not two of them. So I think we really need to take it serious. And if truth be told, in our local league, it's not that bad. Nwabali came from the local league. Vicente Yama in 2002 became the first choice keeper. Because for anybody, one last was our national team coach at our local leagues to watch our games. We had this Timothy Afilikai or something from Eyimba, the goalkeeper who was acting abroad. So if we really look inward, we'll see talent. But we're always waiting for ready-made. We're always waiting for ready-made option because we also need money to fund the coach. If the head coach is at Kano, the assistant coach is at Elu, the second assistant is at Benin watching each other. Before they do that for 2 months, they will see somebody locally and then groom the person. But we are not putting effort into grooming. We are waiting for ready-made. And we can't continue that.
All right, thank you, Dr. Edisiri. So now let me find out from my co-anchor. Is it that are you ready for us to go and join the goalkeepers trainers in the Super Eagles camp, so that maybe we could probably have be a replacement to Nwabali and the others?
Actually, what a keeper does is to save the team. But at this point, I think the kind of save that we need right now is, oh Lord, save your people and bless your inheritors. But then I think this is a slap on our faces as a nation. If we've had at least about 2, 3, 4 sets of golden eagles or flying eagles,
there's at least no development
development from that tranche. For example, we have the likes of Ian Acho, Osimhen in this team currently. There was a goalkeeper when they were playing the Under-17 FIFA World Cup. Talk of Dele Alampasu. Where is Dele Alampasu today? Is he still not playing? He's still playing, but I think we have been so focused on just getting already made players. And you know, that brings me to the question of what exactly are we doing with our golden eaglets, flying eagles, getting them to the super eagles? Are we just picking the ones we feel like we should pick in that set, or we are trying as much as possible to groom everybody into becoming a full-blown super eagles player? Because if you are having an issue currently, especially as it relates to goalkeeping, I think our best bet is to go and look for the Alan Pasu. Probably we should start the trend on social media, hashtag find Dele Alan Pasu.
Oh, where,
Because
where
it's
is Dele
pathetic.
Alan
I think we have more than just Dele Paso, because right now we don't know which club side Dele Paso plays for, and we don't know how regularly he plays in that club at the moment. But I want to toe Dr. Izu's line when he talked about you having two local-based coaches as your assistant coaches. But the question I want to ask is, what do these coaches do when they are not on national assignments? Because they have their own coaches, that their own teams that they coach, and they must have been week in, week out, they play local based matches, and they know for sure which goalkeepers, which players are the best in the National League. Because your Eric Chell, which is the Super Eagles coach, might not be everywhere at the same time, but you as the coach of Remo Stars, you travel to play with this team, and you know which goalkeeper is the best, you know which player is the best. Electrical also does the same traveling with his own team. If at all anybody has a player report on the MPFL, it should be these two coaches. But if you're not getting any positive report from them, that means their position in that place is a waste, because they are supposed to be the channel from the local league to the national team to see how we can bring in some homegrown talents.
Also, we also talk about their own football clubs. Is it that the goalkeeper that plays in their own
football clubs
is
are
not
not
even
good enough?
qualified to play?
Do you understand me? So that's why I said, if they don't want to say, okay, maybe because it's my club, I don't want to push the keeper because
or there is more than the eyes can see.
Do you understand me? But then again, you look around the league. Remo Stars is topping the table in the MPFL as it is today, with about, I think, 4 or 5 points or thereabouts. It means something is working in the team. It means some of the players are doing well, and some of these players are in the B team. That's the Chan team of the Super Eagles. Team. In that Chan team, I'm sure we have 3 goalkeepers in that team. Are you saying these guys are not good enough to be in the Super Eagles? So what are they doing in the Chan team? So what are they doing in the Chan team? Because whether they like it or not, the Chan team, which is the local-based Super Eagles team, is the Super Eagles team also. Just like you have Arsenal playing and other clubs playing. If you check Liverpool now, you see people like Curtis Jones. You see some young players coming into the rank. They came from the ranks of the Liverpool team. People like Saka that we celebrate today, and Nwaneri and Mas Lewis Kelly that you're celebrating today, came from the ranks of Arsenal. You have Palmer playing so well now, came from the ranks of Manchester City. Do you understand me? This Chan team is supposed to be more like where we can draw players from when we are short of some kind of players, because we don't know if we have any goalkeeper at all abroad at the moment. But in your home front, what do you have?
All right, so I'm talking about grassroots development and the current situation we are trying to battle at the national team level, where we say there is no rival for Nwambali. It's high time we now talk about the issue with the under-17 AFCON competition. That the draws will be done tonight, and Nigeria is not among those countries to participate in the draw that is going to hold tonight. And, you know, Nigerian under 17 did not finish in their group, or they were not counted at the first 2 teams in our own part of West Africa. So 2 teams, that's 2 countries, were selected to participate at the AFCON, and at the end of the day, because of the approach that wants to be taken this year, it was not suggested that teams from the 3rd positions should be included into the pots, but Nigeria was not included. So our under 17 team will not be going to the AFCON competition.
And by extension, will not be going to the World Cup.
And by extension, will not be going to the World Cup, because out of the 16 teams that will be functioning, will be participating at the AFCON under 17 tournament, 10 of those teams will be part of those 48 other countries that will struggle or will challenge each other for the World Under 17 tournament. So my brothers here in the studio, we were just lamenting about the issue at hand, and now we are hearing that those boys or our boys are not going to participate for this very set now, because by the time another World Cup or another AFCON Under 17 tournaments will come by, these players would have passed the ages of 17. So how are we now going to harness, or how is there a flow, is there a maintenance channel for these teams? Because possibly we're going to have another Osime, another Nwabali, or another Ihanacho in this current Under 17 team, but because of the fact that they were not able to qualify.
I'll toe again Dr. Izu's line. Just that we have gone to this, we're going to the stage where we don't even have succession anymore. And if you check all those Under 17, you mentioned the NHL, you mentioned the Osime. You want to ask yourself, how many of them graduated from that Osime set? How many of them are you seeing play today? How many of them came from the NHL sets and are playing today? Somehow we lose track of them, and maybe you just get to find only one or two persons that is playing. Now, when I said I want to tow Dr. Izu's routes, there was a time we had Principal's Cup.
Yeah.
And it was a big deal. Principal's Cup was a big deal. And then at the point, we also had a Pepsi Academy. Who churned out these young players.
We even have Nuga, we have National University
Games.
Africa,
do you understand? That churn out.
Wafu.
Yes, that churn out these young lads. And then one thing about this age grade competition, if you don't make it at that level, there is a huge chance that you will disappear from the radar.
You can never make it.
Yes,
you will never make it.
You will never make it.
There's a huge chance that you will disappear from the radar. So I think we need to take this age grade competition serious, like we used to do before. Stating, if you check, the male counterparts of our footballers are not doing well as much as the ladies are doing. Because in all the competitions, the ladies are always represented. But in the male version of all these competitions, we are always having one problem or the other. Now, Nigeria is not playing because Nigeria came third in the WAFU B qualifiers. Nigeria came third, and I don't know what criteria they used in selecting the other two teams that joined the main 16, because they still picked some two teams that came third, in their region. So I don't know what criteria with which
it wasn't stated. I've not seen. I've checked for it.
Yeah, I don't know what criteria, because if you're picking two other teams, it's not like it's a group qualifiers that would say, or maybe they picked those teams based on their performance, group stage performances. Do you understand me? So nobody has been told anything, but Nigeria is not going to be playing the Nations Cup, and by extension not be playing at the World Cup. And now the World Cup, they are having how many teams?
Yeah, 48 teams
now, which means 10 teams from Africa. Imagine having 10 teams representing Africa, and Nigeria is not part of it. That's to tell you how bad your system has been.
All right, Comrade Abraham Soko, just like Raphael made mention of, and Dr. Izu also made mention of, about all the succession plan and development plan. I don't know if you have any information about the reasons why Nigerian Under 17 team haven't come third from the WAFU Under 17 qualifiers table, were not selected or weren't added to the names of teams to participate in this year's Under 17 AFCON.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ebuka. As Mr. Raphael rightly said, the criteria for picking the four teams that finished third and leaving Nigeria out really is not something that I'm aware of, because it is really good for such selections, very, very transparent, because you picking you leaving Nigeria out, a country who have been I think 5 times winner, who have a pedigree in this particular tournament, and selecting other 4 teams. These criteria ought to be really transparent and fair for, and it has to be open. The fact that right now we are debating the criteria, we have not seen it in any of the media outlets, is really, really saddening. But this will lead me to our general conversation that we're having about the death of talent development. It is a really, really sad one because we have had a lot of our established Nigerian footballers who rose through the rank. Even the likes of Mikel Obi, I think he also came through the ranks. And even
Yeah,
before
exactly.
Mikel Obi, before Mikel Obi became a star in the under 17, he was already making waves. This was someone that everybody knew in just that he was a star because the talent was there for everyone to see. So it's not something that was hidden. Now, I think Mr. Rafi also mentioned about the system in England where the likes of Palmer, Non Madueke, and some other English players also are rising from the ranks.
Yeah.
At last year, both Non Madueke and Kopama were playing for the under 21 team. Okay, these players were looking like when they had issues with selection and all that, and the fact that Kopama was actually making really good waves in Chelsea, he had to be drafted from the under 21 to the senior team. Now we are having a situation where our under 17 are failed to qualify for the Nations Cup at also the World Cup. How are we going to progress as a country? How is our football going to grow? Now we also spoke earlier about the issue of our goalkeeping crisis. It's as a result of this death in talent development, our national football as a whole. It's a really sad one for our under 17 team. Thank you very much.
All right, so now we're leaving the under 17 team, and to just go closely to that is the next phase. So after the under 17, we have the under 20.
20.
And doctor, I would like you to talk about the seeding of of Nigeria, Egypt, Morocco, and South Africa in today's draw for the under 20 competition. Doctor Izu, sir.
Well, normally Nigeria is a big team. Want to qualify with the seeding. If they didn't succeed us, then that would have been the height of victory. But we should also know that sometimes seeding doesn't automatically guarantee qualification. So whether we are seeded or not, we also take it serious. Not forgetting that there are past times when not only we were given top seeds, but even the defending champions at the time, having won the World Cup as a defending champion, you were at the risk of not qualifying. 2006, France were defending champion. France were defending champion at the World Cup 2002, and they didn't even score a single goal. Senegal beat them. They only managed to get one draw, and that trend continued. Even Germany, after winning the World Cup in 2014, in 2018, we also knocked out at the group stage. So there's a plethora of examples. Even at the Nations Cup level, sometimes it happens. So we look at how Ghana didn't bother qualify at all for the last current edition. So I think though we have been seeded, we shouldn't rest on our oars, start taking it for granted that that means we get an easy draw and therefore just walk over. Sometimes, like they will say, will shock you. So to avoid being shocked, we should prepare as if we are not seeded and then pray for whatever comes. Because to be the best, you have to beat the best. So we must prepare to meet and beat the best, whether we are seeded or not. Look at what's happening in Champions League too. Even some of the big teams are not seeded. See Man City and Real Madrid playing. We should not be quarterfinal or even semi-final or final. But we're having it so early. So don't go and rely on the old glory. If not, you end up like Samson, and what happened to Samson might just happen to you. I think we should take it serious whether we're seeded or not. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Izu. And I think that will bring us to the next thing that I want us to talk about. And to start with,
Injuries.
Not the best time for our neighbors in London. And I think we actually need to find out their coping mechanisms these days, given the fact that, their homeboy, their favorite, has been on the sideline for some couple of weeks now, and also given the fact that the expected person who is supposed to be their point man
Now he's going
also
to join him.
is also going to join him. And not just joining him, the season is over for him. Kai Havertz. How will Arsenal survive this?
The same way Arsenal has been surviving. Somebody said if you watch the game against Man City, that caused a lot of problem. And I was telling somebody, if Arsenal had known, they just won that game 1-0 and just go to sleep. He scored 5 and the whole world turned on Arsenal. Like, why would you do that to a team like City? But what you want to check in this, sorry to Havertz. And not also only Havertz, don't forget that Jackson is out also, and a lot of players are out, and this is due to fatigue, and it's happening
Saka.
yes,
Saka
Saka also.
Gabriel,
Saka is expected to be back in April.
Liverpool player too on
Yeah,
the sideline, so
yesterday's game,
No, let it go round.
I didn't really follow it thoroughly, but yesterday's game, I think an Everton player too was taken out of the game. So I think they're playing too many games. There was time Arsenal was playing
games in succession.
Yes.
2-3 games in a week.
every 2 days, every 3 days. You are playing back to back. These guys are not robots. But why I mentioned the Arsenal City game was the fact that if you check the scoring charts, you will see that 5 players scored on the day. It means at this point in time, you want to rely on every Tom, Dick, and Harry to come to the forefront, because Saka is still on the sideline, Jesus on the sideline, and what have you. So what Arsenal may end up doing is have a makeshift 9, or what we call false 9.
First 9.
Do you understand me? So I think but one thing again is that the FA would still not want to, how will I put it, say anything about or do anything about it, because a lot of the players have complained, coaches have complained that these games are too much. That's why some teams, even though yes, the trophy is the ultimate, some teams don't bat an eyelid when they lose out of all these competitions, FA Cup, League Cup, because it allows them the opportunity to focus on the league itself. But sorry, like I said, to Havertz, is out of the season, and for all those players that are out of the season, I guess they'll be preparing their mind for the next season.
All right, thank you very much, Comrade Shoko. I believe you are there with us, and we need to talk about ourselves.
What do you have to tell us about the injury cases we have across the EU?
When I saw it, Jackson being injured.
Bittersweet, Abi. Some people are happy. Some people they don't know if they want to be happy.
It came with mixed feelings.
That's why I say it's a bittersweet story.
Mixed feeling.
Say, I'm happy, but who
On
could
one hand, you are happy. On the other hand,
You're not happy.
what is the issue? Comrade Soko, we just talked about Arsenal's injuries. Coming to Chelsea, would return to McGui, Christopher Nkuku.
Okay.
Where is Joe Felix?
Thank you very much, Apollo. Fortunately, I think McGill also unavailable at the moment. So Chelsea is actually facing a attacking crisis option right now, because our two main strikers are both out. So that left us with Nkuku and I think Tyreek George, who had actually featured very well in the Europa Conference. As Mr. Rapper rightly said, I think this is a very testing period, trying period for clubs to actually check their team depth. Because if your depth as a team right now in England is not deep enough, if your squad is not large, you are going to be facing some crisis. So that's going to lead us into this week's feature and see how the likes of Arsenal and Chelsea, both battling with injuries, are going to actually perform. Generally, I don't think it's going to be a very big factor, because it's now left for the coaches to actually make their tactical switch. But as I said earlier, for me, the likes of Noni is going to play from the right, so it's left for the team to the coach to actually make that tactical switch. As for Arsenal, I think Arsenal's situation is also very dire, because they have just 3 strikers available: Trossard, Sterling, and I think I'm missing the last one. And I don't think that our own one area, And out of this three, I'm going to omit Sterling because he has not been really, really spectacular. So Arsenal have two strikers to actually rely on at the moment. So it's going to be trying times for these Premier League clubs right now. I hope that they are going to get out of it. Thank you very much, Mr. Bolo.
All right, thank you very much, Comrade Shoko. Dr. Izu, fatigue, stress. What is the way out? Medically, what is the way out for all of these for all of these injuries for these clubs? Dr. Izu, are you there? Okay, I think you are struggling to get Dr. Izu there. So, Mr. Raf, what's the way out?
I think a lot of work needs to be done because the English FA will not scrap their tournament for you. Maybe they want to look at the way they arrange their tournament to be able to carry these players. Do you understand? Give them enough resting time, knowing fully whether some of these teams are also playing in the Champions League or the Europa League. We also want to check their level, their doctors. Yes, there are some teams that throughout the season they may just have experienced only maybe one or two injuries, and you have other teams that will have up to 10 players. There was a time that almost all the full team of Chelsea was out injured.
Last season, Liverpool suffered
the same thing. So you want to ask yourself, what is the medical team of this club doing that this other club is not doing very well? I wish we were able to get Dr. Izu, who is an expert in this phase, who will be able to tell us what they need to do. But what I can say for a fact is that some of these their medical personnel needs to look deeply into how to handle these cases, because you find out that some clubs, some players go on injury, they'll tell you those players are expected to stay for some certain months, and before you know, boom, they are back. So what did the club do differently that brought these players back? So I think that's what we should start talking about right now.
Oh, all right. Thank you, Mr. Raphael and Comrade Abraham Soko. So, talking about a way forward and a way out, now let's look at Chelsea. That despite the record breaking spending, Chelsea is still struggling, looking for success. So, Mr. Raphael,
it's not always about what's it called, spending. It's spending the right money for the right players.
Exactly.
We talked about getting value for your money. A lot of the time, if you ask me, this is not even banter right now. The last time that Chelsea went into the markets, I don't think they were buying to solve problems.
They were buying to stock up.
They were just buying players, and one of those players, is Modric. One of those players is Modric. If you can attest to the fact that he has not even given 0.5% of whatever it is that was spent on him with this team, and you have a lot of them who have now been sent out either on loan or they've been sold.
Like
now,
Felix.
Yes, the question you ask yourself: why did you buy them in the first place? Of what use were you bringing them in for in the first place? Now you have a goalkeeper who has cost Chelsea more points than even the players on the team, Sanchez. Why did you bring him? Did you bring him because he was better than the... when you're replacing somebody, it means you're better than the person. So it's not enough. You can spend 100 million, you can spend 1 billion buying rubbish. Why some teams, you find teams that don't spend even as much as you spent, and they're doing very well. A team like Newcastle, I don't think they're spending as much as the big six are spending, but they're doing very well. Nottingham Forest is third on the log at the moment. Bournemouth is not far from the top six at the moment.
Not too far-fetched. Nottingham Forest, not too long ago, almost offloaded their whole team.
When they offloaded, yes.
They did, and bought almost a
full team.
But can you see the result of whatever it is that they spent their money on?
So what's the problem with Chelsea? Is it the spending or the management?
You were talking about yes, they spent this money. Why are they not getting results for money spent? That's why I now said sometimes it's not about how much you spend, it's what you're spending on, the kind of quality that you're going out for. We all know Chelsea to be a team that every position has at least two players who can stand their own any day, anytime. Check the days of John Terry, Frank Lampard, Claude Makalele, Mike Essien, Didier Drogba,
Balak, Deco.
you always have them in
Balak and
twos.
Essien.
There was a game that where that was where what's his name, Peter Cech started wearing his helmet against I think against Wigan or thereabouts, where Peter Cech was injured. Immediately a goalkeeper was brought in, Kuricini. And Kuricini was equally as good as Cech. In that same game, I think they sent those Wigan people. In that same game, Kuricini was injured. But luckily, fortunately for Chelsea, the game was at its dying minutes, extra time. So John Terry had to step in before the game ended. Why am I saying this? Every time you look at the Chelsea team, you always see a replacement that's worthy of the person that's on the pitch, and that was what Abramovich made sure of. He wasn't just buying anybody that was in the market, because what Todd Bowley is doing is when he hears that man he wants to buy one person, he runs and grabs the person. If the person is solving a problem for him or not, he doesn't care. He buys that person. Then your market, the market shows that you spent 1 billion. Then the question is 1 billion of what?
To do what?
Do you understand me? So it's not about the money. It's about the quality. There's a difference between quantity and quality. That's why now, if you check, Joao Felix is out of Chelsea. I think Asel Disasi is also out of Chelsea. And then Ben Chilwell is out of Chelsea. So, and the people you have brought in, are they enough to help you? As we speak now, they're looking for a goalkeeper to replace Sanchez.
All right, so let's come to you now, comrade. You're a conk supporter of Chelsea Football Club. So what exactly went wrong with Chelsea? Is he as a result of administrative rule or what? Or is it that Chelsea has too much money in the bank, so they just want to spend and be spending and be spending? And having in mind that tomorrow is Valentine, maybe we can ask Chelsea to buy something for us and send to us when there is too much money in the bank.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Ebuka. What I would want to say about Chelsea issue, we actually went through a phase where we got new owners, and having gotten those new owners who wanted to actually invest heavily in the club, and they ended up spending a lot of money, likes of Caicedo, Modric, Enzo. Those three would cost over almost 400 million pounds. What I would want to say is that some of these signings were not necessary, and they were not able to yield results, the effects that the club owners and the management at that particular time had in mind. But since Enzo Maresca came in, he has actually been trying to actually trim the tape. We have seen a situation where most of these players have actually gone out on loan or have actually been sold outrightly. Even this transfer window, we saw some of our players, the likes of Sassi, within the club. So I would not want to be too critical of Maresca at this point, because he has always come out to say that Chelsea is in a work in progress. We are going through a phase. Even when we are performing very, very well, it was always other man to come out to say that we are not in the title race. He alone knows why he has brought up this mentality into the thing. I believe that it's a work in progress. So I believe what is happening now is him trying to understand the theme, him trying to know the best course of action for Chelsea as a football club. And I actually want to believe and key into this. Even Arsenal had their phase. I know Mr. Raphael was actually critical of Chelsea signings recently. But 2-3 seasons ago, Arsenal also struggled like this until Arteta came in. And even when Arteta came in, he had a season where he had to go through the phase and actually understand his player, know the dynamics of the thing. And I believe that is what Chelsea is going through right now. So for alarm, in as much as we have not been performing very well, we are knocked out of the FA Cup. I don't believe that there is a cause for alarm yet. But though I am actually really, really astounded by some of the signings made, especially the Joao Felix. He came on loan to Chelsea. He did not perform very, very well. You had to go in and sign in a game for almost 60 million euros. And just this transfer window, you have loaned him back to AC Milan. So this sort of business dealings is something that is really, I'm not able to wrap my head around. Thank you, Mr. Ebuka.
Thank you very much, Comrade Abraham Soko. Now let's move away a little bit from the injuries and all the injury stories. And now let's talk about the Copa del Rey. Copa del Rey, the semi-final draws has been published, and now we have Barcelona, Atletico, Real Sociedad, and Real Madrid to battle for the Copa del Rey of 2025, 2024-2025.
I think it's going to be a big one. It's going to be a big one. That's what's it called? Barcelona facing Atletico Madrid, and then what have you?
Real
Sociedad
Real
facing
Sociedad.
Real Madrid. Marketers are business-minded people in the Spanish league. I think they are trying to what's it called? They are trying to create an atmosphere where you have Real Madrid and Barcelona final again. But I don't think they shouldn't overlook those other two teams, Atletico Madrid and Real Sociedad. It's going to be in fact this is going to be the final before the final. You have Atletico against Barcelona, and then you have Real Madrid against Sociedad. It's going to be final before the final, and everybody will be looking out for these games.
All right, so Comrade Abraham Soko, can we have your view of the game for the final, the semi-finals of the Copa del Rey? We see Real Madrid against Real Sociedad, and I think that's going to look like a walkover for Real Madrid. But the game against Barcelona and Atletico Madrid, what do you have to say about these games? It looks like a very challenging one.
Thank you very much. Atletico Madrid has been one of the inspiring teams in the La Liga in season. They have actually performed well, and the head-to-head I've had with the big teams have not been able to win them. I think just last weekend they played Real Madrid, and the game ended in a stalemate. And then when Barcelona played with a last-minute goal from Toulouse. So it's going to be a cracking affair. I believe that Atletico Madrid might just end up actually edging it, because the coach, I believe he has a tactical plan when he faces these big teams. He has been really tremendous in the head-to-head when it comes to playing likes of Barcelona and Real Madrid. So I don't see Barcelona actually emerging from that particular fissure. And the other fissure, Real Madrid against Real Sociedad. With all due respect to Real Sociedad, that match is going to be a walkover. The only fear is that Real Madrid might end up trying to rotate, because, as I've always said in this show, some of these games they are coming too fast. So he might just decide to put the likes of Hendrick and Gula and some of the players that are bench warmers in the team. So if that is the case, maybe Real Sociedad might just have a chance. Thank you, Mr. Ebuka.
All right, thank you. And just to note that in succession, I think Atletico Madrid has maintained one coach, one manager for quite a longer time than every other team.
He's the longest serving coach at the moment.
Yes, exactly.
Not just in the league, I think across
Across
the
Europe,
globe,
yes.
yeah. So I think he still has the experience. He has the tactics on how to play around this with this competition, Copa del Rey, and he has played Barcelona before, so he's like just like a home play, and we still see top players like Koke is still in the team. All right, so let's take a look at the just concluded or the just played matches at the England FA Cup, where we see Mike Tomel coming out to take away the win from Chelsea's Kufas, and also we saw teams like Plymouth dealing with big
We call them giant
yes,
killers.
exactly, big beating Liverpool, who is at the top of the EPL table, and a couple of other matches that we saw within the week. We saw Aston Villa against Tottenham. We saw Blackburn's Rovers losing the game to Wolves Hampton. So, Mr. Raphael, can you tell us about your overview about these matches, these last matches played at the FA Cup?
I think there were great games that were played over the weekend in this FA Cup, but the one that everybody keeps talking about is that of, excuse me, Plymouth and Liverpool. And if you also check the standing again, this same Plymouth will be facing Manchester City. So I don't know what maybe Plymouth fans will be saying. I don't know what we have done to these people. You know, maybe we are seeing a repeat of what Coventry did last season, where they beat almost everybody on their path, even some EPL teams, to get to the final, if I'm not mistaken, but lost the final. So I think it's another resurgence, and we're seeing Plymouth Agile going against some big teams. When I say big teams, because they are facing City. But other games, we are the FA Cup always comes with drama. The FA Cups is always living up to its billing,
with
and
teams
then
from the
teams from the lower league wants to prove a point.
Yeah, exactly.
And when they come, if you assume that because you're in the EPL you can ride over them, they would mess you up big time. They would mess you up big time. So the FA Cup still lives to its billing, lives to its drama, and then we are hoping to see more and more drama in the FA Cup.
All right, so Comrade Abraham Soko, we see teams like Nottingham Forest go a 2-2 draw with Ezra City, and then went straight to a penalty kick, and when Nottingham Forest scaled through. So what other match caught as in captivated you from the just concluded FA matches?
The game that actually captivated me was still the Giant Killers Plymouth Liverpool, because I actually did not see that coming. And there's a team, the FA Cup actually has a team. It is called the Magic of the FA Cup. So FA Cup is a tournament that actually comes with magic. And the reason why it is called the Magic of the FA Cup is because some of these teams, they come for lower divisions, and it actually comes with a lot of drama and a lot of excitement, as we saw. So, as I said, nobody saw Plymouth actually defeating Liverpool. And even Manchester City, I think they also struggled in their own game, because they actually, I think the other team, the lower division side, got the lead, they equalized, and they were able to secure. Kevin De Bruyne was able to secure a win deep in the second half. So it was actually really, really exciting, and I look forward to more games and more excitement in the FA Cup. Yeah, thank you very much.
Over to my co-anchor to take on the other stories he has in front of him. Let's now go a little bit to the Arabian side, where we see the 40-year-old man heading on to the 1,000th goal, where he is currently at his 924th goal. So this guy is 40 years. This guy is 40 years, and he's still doing things that younger men are struggling to do, and he's doing it perfectly fine. And so I want to know from you, Comrade Abraham, do you think Ronaldo will clinch that 1,000th goal before his retirement?
To be very honest, the way he's going at the moment, he might even surpass it, because he's not slowing down. He doesn't seem to be slowing down. Last week we spoke in all encomiums about his achievements, about his discipline, about his professionalism, and he has continued to emulate such, and he has continued to live up to the billings and the good status. So I see him actually at least making that 1,000 goal mark. As I said last week, if you start your playing career at 18 and you score 40 goals every season, you will still not have surpassed Ronaldo. So that's to show how explosive he has been over the many years he has been a professional football player.
All right, so with that, we'll now say that now inform you that there are talks to renew Ronaldo's contract, and there's ongoing talk. Although papers have not been signed, but he's still going to extend his stay in Al Nassr for another season. So, Michael Anko, you want to say something?
Thank you very much, Mr. Ibukade. And then we are going to be diving straight into Europe's biggest competition to have been won by many clubs in England, I think, except for Mr. Rafiki's team.
Arsenal.
I didn't mention him, but then, of course, Mr. Rafiki's team has not, they've not got in there yet. And then we go into the
I'll reply
Champions
you when
League.
you win the golden EPL trophy. When you win the golden EPL trophy, I will reply you.
English Premier League trophy remains English Premier League trophy.
But you know,
Whether
do you know
golden-
the EPL is still the most expensive tournament?
Whether
Anywhere.
golden, whether
Thank you.
silver,
Can you see that? Can you see that trophy on the screen?
silver, golden, bronze, paper, plastic trophy.
They don't give it to everybody.
Trophy.
They don't give it. They don't give it to everybody.
Check
in the records.
Europe, sir.
Check
When we
in
come
the-
to Europe, sir. when we
England
come
is
to
still in Europe. England is still in
Yes,
Europe.
sir. Yes, sir.
When England is still part of Europe.
When we come to Europe,
show
to
me
get trophy,
show me a team
we'll
with the
talk about
golden
it.
with the golden trophy, and I'll answer you.
When we come to Europe to get trophy, we'll talk about it, and we were talking about.
We're talking about it already.
And we are talking about, I think, one of the biggest cracker match of this week: Real Madrid, Manchester City, at the Etihad Stadium. You know, before now, there has been a kind of back and forth, cold war between both clubs, especially after the Ballon d'Or incidents and all of those things, and Rodri making away with it. But it became much more tougher when Manchester City fans flew the banner in the stadium talking about the Ballon d'Or, and you know, after the match, I think Vinicius Junior said that was
motivates.
it
It's part of the
motivated
things
him
that
to, you know,
motivate
to
him
work
to
hard and
perform well.
inspire
Exactly.
Real Madrid to glory.
What I want to say about that is, at the end of the day, he will last
Last.
the best. You know, if this was Arsenal that threw up this banner, the whole England, Chelsea, Liverpool, Newcastle, and the likes would call Arsenal maybe childish and what have you. You know, when Arsenal celebrates a goal, they say, "Why do you celebrate like that?"
Like that, you over celebrate.
You are over celebrating, and then you do your own, and you say they are excited. That's why they are celebrating. So this, I think, was really very uncalled for. Trying to maybe guilt trip or what have you the Vinicius there by saying, "Stop crying your heart out." People lose, people win, and everybody take things differently in terms of how the some certain situation happen around them. It doesn't now necessarily mean that when the person comes to play in your stadium, your team comes up with a banner like that. But at the end of the day, who left that stadium better? It was still him, because he had 2 assists in that game.
And he was given
Was
the man of
the
He
the
was
match.
the man of the match in that game. So you only helped him to play better in that tournament. And mind you, this was not even the second leg. This is the first leg,
This is the first
which
leg.
means you're going
You're
back
going back to
their home.
to Madrid. You're going back to Bernabeu. So you have taught them. And that was why when the whole Haaland thing happened, and people forgot that Haaland came up with the whole be humble.
Be humble, hey, be humble.
And then when you did that, if you check it in the local climb, somebody that is far younger than you coming to your shoulder and tapping you and say, "Hey, be humble." Somebody that rightfully played with your father, Atata played with Haaland's dad.
Yeah.
Do you understand me? And then you go to him and you tap him on the shoulder and you tell him, "Be humble." And then when my Skelly came towards you and you're telling my Skelly, "Who are you? Who the hell are you?" Everybody forgot all those his rude remarks. But it was now when he was being given the same energy, he shouldn't have done that. No, you don't tell people how to react.
No, but you don't. 2 wrongs cannot make it right.
Yes, 2 wrongs cannot make it right. People celebrate with Palmer's celebration today, not to spite him. When Gabriel scored against Sporting, he did Gyökeres celebration. People in EPL, when they score, they go like this. That's Palmer's celebration. Skelly did his own and decided to go the Haaland way.
Nwaneri or Ethan scored and did.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Everybody does it. Nobody knows what is going through your head when you score a goal at that point in time. Some people don't even know how to celebrate. They just run up and down. Do you understand me? But now you're going back to Bernabeu after telling them what you told them. See, let me tell you what some countries will do to you, some clubs will do to you. Even though you have a quota that they will have to give to you in that stadium, they might even reduce
They will overflow it.
Do you understand? Reduce to the barest minimum, that the only voice you'll be hearing there are voices. And mind you, Man City are not in their best form at the moment. So do not start. They say no be the masquerade way first. No, I say masquerade way first dance. Go sit down, watch the one way you want come dance.
Yes.
So now they are going to Benabo. They are going to get the hits. The fire they started.
No be to call police.
Now we go win case.
Now we go win case. So. Comrade Soko, Manchester City have called police.
Now then go win case.
Will they win the case? Comrade Soko, are
Thank
you
you
there
very
with us?
much.
Yeah, all right.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bulu. I actually have a totally different view from what Mr. Raphael just stated.
Okay.
Cool.
Because I feel both Manchester City, that banner actually came as a result of a response to all the controversy that surrounded the Ballon d'Or. We all saw how Real Madrid boycotted. We all saw how everyone on social media was saying that he didn't deserve it. So it's as a club, if it was my club, I would actually feel bad. So I understood that show of solidarity for their player, and I understand where that banter is coming from. And I feel that it's actually exciting for football clubs to actually banter at club level. We also game against Arsenal, Manchester City, made that celebration. Yes, you might want to justify that as a result of the previous match they played, but it was totally uncalled for. And we also saw how
Why?
it was
Why?
and he did not criticize it at that point. So I'm wondering now he's coming out to say that City actually went overboard and all that. And I also saw at the end of the game when Real Madrid won, the place that this guy was actually replaced with Pep Guardiola. So it was actually Pep Guardiola that was crying his out after the game. So I don't see anything wrong in clubs going and bantering each other. When you go to Spain, even the Twitter pages of some of these clubs, it's really, really comic. It's really, really funny.
Yeah.
Even in, I think the game against Manchester United played the game recently, and there was a very glaring offside call, but it was not given. And one of these clubs went on social media and said that it was because the linesman didn't want to take into the game into extra time. He was tired of watching the boring shit that they were being played, in his words. So I don't think a little banter does any harm in a game of football. So I take a totally different view.
No.
Thank you very much.
I'm still going to say something. Sorry. Like I said, when I keep using Arsenal because I'm an Arsenal fan and these things happen, especially when the Arsenal team does it. When Arsenal had one rivalry session with Brighton, I think, no, not Brighton, Brentford. And then Ivan Toney came, and I think the game ended in a draw, and he was talking about kick out with the boys. He was making reference to the Arsenal team like, I just played with some boys. And then when he came over and Arsenal defeated them, I think, and then the Arsenal people repeated that same. I don't know why you say something to me and it's okay, and I say it back to you. It's not okay. I understand the place of banter in football. It happens everywhere with different clubs, but do not give whatever you cannot take. If you want to give it, be ready to take it when it comes. That's why I said they are going back. If they had played Madrid first, and then now Madrid is not coming to Etihad to play, and you do that, we know you're doing it and you're going scot-free with it. Do you understand me? But now you're going back to the Bernabeu. See, banter is part of football. Yes, and like I rightfully said, not everybody. When Mikel lost the 2013, what's it called? CAF award. We all complained because we knew who the right winner was going to be at that point in time. When Okocha lost 98, we knew at some point in time when Messi was winning this Ballon d'Or as against you giving it to what's it called, Ronaldo. A lot of people, yes, this is not the first time that people make comments about you not being worthy of this award. Do you understand me? Why is this one now a serious case to the point that the full club, they will see their own banner when they go to Bernabeu.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. We've had a lot of discussion here this morning in the studio on this edition of Now Streaming Sports Show. But before we leave the studio this morning, I'd quickly like to know from our guests their prediction or their expectation from the matches across the globe this weekend, most especially in the EPL, in France Ligue 1, or the Italian Serie A. So, comrade, let's have your view, or let's have your prediction, your overview for what we should expect for this weekend matches.
Very much, Mr. Ebuka.
Yes,
the fixture that is being displayed on the screen, I think, is coming from Saturday. Okay, Chelsea is actually playing. Chelsea will start the fixture from tomorrow, on Friday. They are going to be playing Brighton, so it's actually a very good one for Chelsea to get their revenge, a pound of flesh.
Are you
I
sure?
hope it's not too lost in the rough. So,
Are you sure? Brighton just collect 7 over the first, so.
I hope that it's an avenue, a platform for revenge. I hope Oyo is not my case. We get back-to-back losses. It will be very, very disappointing. But I see Chelsea coming out from that particular fixture. A Merseyside derby. There's also a Merseyside derby over the weekend. So it's going to be 2 Merseyside derby in a row. And I actually don't see. Okay, let me look at the fixture.
Yeah,
Liverpool Everton. This is the wrong fixture.
They played it yesterday. It was
Liverpool.
yesterday.
The Merseyside derby was played there last night.
This particular feature yesterday.
Yes.
Because Liverpool will be playing Wolves over the weekend. It's going to be a straight affair. For the the standard feature is going to be Manchester City, Newcastle. Newcastle have been on
fire,
hot form recently, and I actually see Newcastle coming out from that particular fixture. The Leicester Arsenal game is going to be a tough one for us with all their injuries. So it's going to be an avenue to test their man too. But I feel that Arsenal might just have the discipline and the firepower to actually come out from that particular. I hope that's not the case anyways, but I believe that they are going to win that particular fixture. So I will end here. Thank you very much, Mr.
All right. Thank you, Comrade Abraham Soko. So, Mr. Raphael, do you think Manchester City will be able to defeat
Newcastle
Hotspurs? Manchester United, I beg your pardon, will be able to defeat
there are
Tottenham
two teams.
Hotspur.
There are 2 teams that are struggling at the moment. Manchester and Tottenham. But I don't know. I can't even stick my neck out for any of them because the game can go either ways. Because the 2 teams, like I said, are struggling at the moment.
All right. So, there any other prediction cutting across the matches?
I want to go back to that Chelsea game.
Yeah.
Chelsea, Brighton. And I like how Comrade Soko laughed when he said, I hope we'll win. Because I remember Brighton being beaten 7 by Nottingham Forest. And nobody takes such kind of results into a UK this time around because that all die and I die. Anyhow, it will happen, make it happen. I think it's going to be a very beautiful game. Not also forgetting the Newcastle Manchester City game. It's going to be a cracker because if Manchester City loses that game, they're going to drop on the table also. If Chelsea wins, City is going to drop further on the table also. So I don't think they want to give that to chance to keep dropping further because the further you drop, the more Liverpool gains more headways. We're hoping that Liverpool
they have 7 points.
Yeah, 7 points. Everybody had given them 3 points before they played against Everton. Forgetting that Everton game was a derby game and anything can happen at any point in time. And we also saw what happened, scoring at the 98th minute.
Yeah, there are so many controversies already popping out from the match. And
who was in the center?
2 coaches, coach and the assistant coach giving red
sent
card.
Off.
And
who was in the center of affairs? Michael Oliver again.
So I don't know.
The man has a way of making himself the center of attraction. And then there were a lot of course, it's a derby game. Arsenal playing against Tottenham, Manchester playing against Manchester City, Fulham against Chelsea, and so on and so forth. Before you know, there's that physicality that comes with the game, and everybody wants to live there with their held up high, and none of the team in the Messi side wanted to live there as a losing side. Do you understand me? So I'm hoping that this weekend we're going to see beautiful football and people drop points where Arsenal gain points.
People drop points.
I didn't mention anybody's name.
People drop points.
People drop points where Arsenal gain points.
No problem. I think with this, in all we do, keep striving, keep working, make sure you are the best in whatever you find yourself to do.
All right, thank you for that wonderful motivation coming from my co-anchor. And I want to use this opportunity to thank you, our esteemed viewer, for always being there to join our show every time we come across your viewing, your airwaves. And so to also thank my guest in the studio this morning, Mr. Afe Oja Okomo. Thank you for always responding.
Thank you very
responding to our calls whenever we call on you. Please, I would love to also appreciate Comrade Abraham Soko always spending time, no matter the cost or the hike in telecoms and all of that. We want to appreciate you for always joining the show every time we call upon you. Dr. Izu, I believe you're back on the show. We lost you at some point in time, and I want to quickly get your last word as we look forward to Chelsea welcoming Brighton welcoming Chelsea to come, and maybe a revenge or a retaliation or another beating to be collected. So let's hear from you, Dr. Izu, before we leave the show this morning.
Thank you. I've been waiting on line. I'm sorry for the initial break I had. But before I tell you my prediction, I want to just also lend my voice to what Comrade Soko said about the issue of banter. I think they are being unfair to us now. The only trophy they have every year, the FA wants to take it from them. If you take banter away from us now, what else do they have? So please, they should allow us now. So last year, they said we are the only ones that beat Man City. We didn't lose to Man City. We didn't lose to Liverpool. And that's their problem. So if you take this one from them now, this year now, they're beating Man City.
They should free us.
We are the only ones to beat Man City 5. So if you take this from them, they might just go into depression. Please.
All
So
right.
let's leave it. Let the banter be respectful, but it's just clear. Then for the issue of prediction, as usual, that early kickoff on Saturday, Chelsea will have their day Brighton. Brighton will brighten their day just like they did the last time. So, and don't forget this time, I think Brighton is at home, if I'm not mistaken. So it's only Chelsea's at home, Brighton is at home. So you already know that they are stronger at home. And don't forget that Michael Jackson, Chelsea is already so only God knows who they are going to play in attack. So Nkunku is not really a striker. A lot has been said about England, but it's also unfair that people didn't talk about Spurs of mind, even though they are fallen from their former heights, but they are still big clubs that should be talked about. I'm looking forward to that match, and I know there will be goals at both ends because they can't defend for their life, both of them. But I think mine and then Spurs, mine might just take today. But my focus will be in Italy, where we have Lazio versus Napoli. And that's a game that is also very two fanatical clubs. Napoli is topping the league. Lazio are aiming to qualify for Europe. But Lazio are at home. And Napoli are also stubborn when they go away and they want to win this league and shame Osimhen for abandoning them when they needed them. So it's going to be a very tight game. And then in Germany, we have Bayer Leverkusen versus Bayern Munich. We know Bayern Munich are not as strong as they used to be, particularly with their baby coach, Vincent Kompany. So, and Leverkusen are at home. Not forgetting too that Bayern Munich has one eye on the playoffs for championship playoffs. They don't let it Celtic next week. It's going to be an interesting game, but I know that Leverkusen, knowing that if they lose, they're going to go more ground in the league table. So I'm supporting them Bayer Leverkusen to at least keep the German league interesting, because Liverpool are already leagues to have some level of competition. So in other words, you have nothing less to watch for. So I think thank you so much for having me on the show. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Izu, for making time to be with us on the show this morning. Once again, thank you to Comrade Abraham Soko. Thank you, my co-anchor. Thank you, Mr. Raphael Ojao Komo. This time next week, we will be having records of a lot of results from a lot of matches that have been played around the globe. We have matches in the Nigerian Premier League, we have matches in England, we have matches in all around Europe. So clinch to your TV and make sure you watch 1 or 2 matches so that by next time when we come back on this show, you have something to talk to us about when we expect your phone calls or your messages via our various social media handle. But until we come your way again next time, I still remain Chukwu Ebuka Ike, and bye for now.